Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Tuesday. Glad you're here. Shout out to Ken Monceau. He had a birthday this weekend, so if you know Ken, give him a holler. Happily using his coffee mug today. Today's Red Mic message, thank you for that delay, by the way. Today's Red Mic message, delay tactic. They want you on that page. They need you on that page. There is a form of bad writing in today's modern world that has absolutely nothing to do with grammar. What makes it bad? Well, it's not spelling, it's not punctuation, it's not whether you used the proper spelling of the word there, or there. It's people are no longer writing really to communicate. They're writing to manipulate attention. They're writing to manipulate your time, your eyeballs. And you can feel it every time you click on an article titled something like, Fans were shocked by what happened next. And then you spend the next 5 minutes scrolling through 3 autoplay ads, 2 videos you didn't ask for, a paragraph about the actor's childhood, a recipe somehow wedged in the middle of all of that, and 17 repetitions of the same sentence before finally discovering the answer was, no, he's still on the show. And then you got the worst version of that, where it's some made up AI BS slop, and you read through it and it tells you stuff you know is incorrect. So what do you end up doing? You end up highlighting it, you put it into Google or GPT chat or whatever it is, only to find out that your thought in your head was completely correct. Saw one yesterday from a page called CBR, which I think is Comic Book Resources. Don't hold me to that. But the whole article was about Billy Bob Thornton not being around for the next season of Landman. Well, that's complete and utter nonsense because he signed a 4-year deal. So it's disingenuous crap is what it is. And how all this relates to today's Red Mic message, keeping you on that page is the goal, because that article is no longer communication. It's almost like a hostage negotiation, because it's everywhere. Social media, news, corporate emails, politics, marketing, sometimes even in your daily conversations. Because somewhere along the way, the internet stopped rewarding clarity and started rewarding retention. Not did you help the audience, but did you keep them scrolling? And that changes behavior of the writer, of the editor, of you as a consumer. Headlines are engineered instead of written. Content gets stretched like saltwater taffy. People bury the answer, they bury the lead, because the business model pays by the minute. And suddenly the person who could explain it in 45 seconds or 2 sentences, they lose to the person who takes 10 minutes to say nothing before finally, ending up with, oh yeah, and by the way, Billy Bob is actually going to be around. I mean, the algorithm matters more than the message. I mean, it's the same reason the whole unalive thing from yesterday was around. This ought to concern us more than it does, because we're wasting time on nothing. When everything is optimized for clicks, communication itself starts to break down. You stop trusting headlines. You stop believing summaries. You stop assuming that anybody is talking straight to you. And it goes so completely contrary to what I was taught when I was a daily reporter. You may recall I was a newspaper reporter in Wichita Falls. I covered education, I covered politics, I covered business. I ended up on our regional desk for a while, which meant I went out into the hinterlands of, the extended areas of our reader area, and covered everything from rubber chicken events to county commissioner meetings. The instruction was always the same: don't bury the lead. Now, if you're a non-journalist, what that means is you don't hide the important part of the story underneath a pile of nonsense. If the courthouse burned down, your headline isn't supposed to be, the first sentence isn't supposed to be, the courthouse, originally constructed in 1911 by the such and such community. No, you start with, the courthouse burned. That's the lead. and you've got to get to that point quickly, or at least you used to. I remember hearing an editor yelling across the room to a reporter who wasn't even there, by the way, "Get to the effing point, so and so." And if you worked with me at the Times Record News, I'm not going to say who it was, but you knew what his desk was based on the color of his chair. We'll leave it at that. Uh, um, that editor was not being mean. He was doing his job. People's attention is valuable. And if somebody gives you your attention, gives you their attention, you owe them clarity in return because they all have other things to do. And the fact that they're sharing part of their time by reading your article, it should mean more. But today, it's just the opposite. We tease, we stretch, we delay, we pad the articles, we optimize for engagement. We've turned communication into fishing. But good communicators, good leaders, good coaches, good teachers, they reduce confusion. They don't manufacture it. They don't extend it. Confused people do not become confident people. And that matters if you're leading a team, running a meeting, teaching kids, coaching football, or writing online. Your job is not to sound important. Your job is to help people understand. There's a line from a movie. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bull stuff. It wasn't. Today's internet seems to be completely built around baffling people with bull stuff. And I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted by it. Short, honest communication stands out now because it's so flippin' rare. The people who simply say, here's the problem, here's the answer, here's what happens next. That sounds revolutionary, but it should be the status quo. And if you're an internet writer, just please get to the flipping point. That's today's Red Mike message. Now, I do know that someone's going to tell me, wow, you spent 8 minutes telling us to get to the point. Yes, I did. So hush. I love you guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Please give me a like, a follow, and a share. Uh, Drop me a line in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Shout out to Heather over on Instagram. Thank you, Heather, for your feedback yesterday. I appreciate it much. I'll talk to you guys next time. And until next time, don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon. I'll see you.